Hello, in this hint and tip example, we are having a look at the sum formula. The sum formula is probably one of the most well-known formulas within Excel. However, not everybody knows that there's more than one way to do it. We're going to have a look at the different ways you can do it within Excel. These are not exclusively all the ways, this is just a few of them and probably the ones that people may use most regularly. The first way to use the sum formula is to actually type it in. As you can see on the screen, we've got 5 columns of numbers, so we're going to do the same sum formula but in different ways under each one, and you'll be able to see how they all work because the answers will all be the same. So the first route is just to type in the sum formula. We do this by typing in equals sum and an open bracket, highlight your numbers, type in a closed bracket and hit enter. A way to just double check you've done this correctly, if you highlight all of the numbers, down here in your status bar, in the taskbar down here, you'll see that it actually tells you how much it should be, and you can see the answer here. The second example is using the AutoSum function. This is found in your Home tab within Excel, and over on the right hand side there should be a symbol that looks similar to this. The button might also have AutoSum next to it, or it might just be this button. If you click on the main bit, it will just do sum, but if you click on the drop down arrow, there are other options you can choose from, some other simple functions here. This example though, we're going to use sum. We're going to click in it. You can see that it has highlighted all your numbers, typed in the sum formula, hit enter, and it's worked it out for you. The next option we're going to have a look at is using your quick analysis button. This is a new-ish button within Excel. Within the more recent versions, you can see as I've highlighted these numbers in Excel, this button has appeared here, which is your quick analysis one. If you click on this, there's an option for totals, click on sum, and it's worked it out for you underneath. Moving along, the next option we can use is using a shortcut option on your keyboard. Now there's two ways you can do this, I'm going to show you both. The shortcut option we're going to use is Alt and the equals button. Now there's two ways you can do it. You can either highlight the numbers and do it, or you can just type in to the empty cell. In your spreadsheet, we've selected the empty cell underneath. I'm now typing in Alt equals on your keyboard, on my keyboard, and you can see it's now typed in the sum formula, highlighted the numbers, hit enter, and it's worked it out. I'm now going to delete this and we're now going to do exactly the same, except we're going to highlight the numbers first and then do it. You can see it's worked it out again. Finally, last option is we're going to type in the sum formula but also using the indirect. So we're going to use a nested option. We're going to type in equals sum. We're then going to type in the indirect function. What we are doing in this example is we are telling it that we want it to make sure it starts at a particular cell and of course finish at a particular cell as well. Essentially what this has done is it's essentially locked in that first number. So I'm now going to demonstrate why this is useful. If you now insert in a number, if we type in the number 4 across each one, you'll see now that only one formula has updated because this is still locked in, say that first one, whereas the other ones, of course, has moved down because originally the first number in the original range of data was 5. So nesting in this indirect function allows you to essentially fix the first numbers in the first row, will always be used, and of course won't change if you insert in any rows above row 1. You can see that of course there are little green triangles on all of these cells, just warning you that actually you've inserted in a number out of the range, do you want it included? So we could then go back in, we could of course tell it to update it, or we could just go in and modify it each time. So this was just looking at the sum formula within Excel, but that there's more than one way to do it, that of course you can have a go at trying all of them.